Hello and welcome to another Spectrum Geeks video. My name is Dale, and in today's video I'm taking you through my dream garage build. So thanks for tuning into this video. Before we go back outside, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen over the last kind of 18 or so months I'm working on a house renovation, and part of that was to hopefully have a garage build. So there was a lot that's gone in to kind of getting the garage build to this stage, which we'll go to in a moment. Basically, when we bought this house, there wasn't a garage. They had like a strange kind of carport, and my plan or my goal was always to hopefully convert that carport into some rooms and then have a garage built on the side. As with all things cost more than envisaged, so I had to borrow a little bit more money than expected, but basically I've just had the shell built, and then kind of everything else I'm either doing myself or getting some trades in to help as I kind of struggle. So it's going to be multiple parts, but this is just related to the garage build. I might do some kind of behind the scenes renovation-y type content for the members if that is something that people are interested in. But right back at the beginning, to get this build to work, I had an electricity pole right where I want to have the garage built. So it took me some time working with the local energy company to get that pole moved. Actually, that was a really somewhat straightforward process. They're really helpful, really collaborative, and got that moved. And then had the planning permission submitted and approval. Again, if you've ever had building work done, you'll know the plan application process is somewhat tedious here in the UK. Many weeks of waiting, and then in the end they just say yes, hopefully. So you can do it. So in terms of the garage build, the garage is basically slightly wider than the size of a double garage, but has a single garage opening with some side access, and then over the top of it is where my future office / cave will be, like I had in the previous house where you would have seen those videos, and then solar panels going on the south facing roof and some Veluxes at the back. But the garage itself, what I'm trying to do here is, as far as I can afford anyway and time allows, to build kind of my dream garage. And what that dream garage is for me is somewhere that vehicles can kind of be stored safely and securely, but it looks like a clean, tidy environment, not kind of clutter, at least clutter not visible everywhere. So not looking to have tools and spades and brooms all kind of visible anywhere. They'll either be stored somewhere else in cabinets or kind of out of the way. So when you kind of look in there, it will look smart, clean and organised, and you'll kind of know where things are going to go. So in terms of multiple parts, this first part, this is just covering off the shell build and show you what that looks like and my thought process. Second part will probably come once I've been in a situation where I can board the ceiling. I need to do fire rated board up there, get some lighting in, and then do the floor. That'll probably be the second part, and then the third part will be kind of vehicles in and storage kind of mostly sorted, and then maybe a fourth part in terms of any accessories that I get. But it's going to be over multiple months, maybe even years, but I thought I'd start and document this process because I know if you're a fan of the channel or this type of content, you're probably also someone that's interested in a garage build. So just show some videos to kind of show how things got started. So originally, once I found a builder, the initial expectation was they're going to be kind of 12 months waiting time, at best 6, but then they contacted me just before Christmas to say that they could probably actually start in January because I had some cancellations on some other jobs which they would be able to fit this in, because it should be around a 3-month build in total. It's turned out to be 4 months plus a little bit for some snagging. But yeah, they got to work straight away digging out the foundations. As you can see in the video, hopefully, they had to dig down quite deep because my house is on a bit of a slope, so they had to dig quite deep down in the back because basically nearly a third of the wall is kind of underground, to give me the depth to then obviously have a flat garage floor that kind of fits on to the drive, and then they could start building the shell. So my goal wasn't to have to kind of decorate the inside. The plan was that I could just have good quality breeze block walls that I could paint white, like I've done in other parts of the house, well, in my previous garages, sorry, in those houses, and just paint them white. It still looks pretty good, pretty smart. And if I ever wanted to in the future, I'd go to expensive plasterboard and it all, but that's a lot of money essentially for what is still a garage, even if trying to be your dream garage. So one of the other components, obviously having that large opening, it's slightly over 5 meters at the garage opening, so obviously I had to have some steel work put in there, and they had this guy come along with this really old vintage crane. It worked really well, did leak oil all over the drive, but they were then able to put the lintel into place and then obviously then continue the rest of the build kind of around the outside. But the actual roof itself, so the structure where my office is going to be, obviously had to be kind of a large opening and quite a wide span. So it was a truss roof that was put into there, so that was built by a third party and then again delivered to site on a truck, and again that was then craned back in again. So same crane driver, same oil leaking, put up on top obviously of the shell, and then obviously once that's all been constructed, then they could make a start on kind of doing the roof. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the front part I was going to have inbuilt solar panels, so left that bit open, and there's a separate set of videos on the channel if you're interested in the solar stuff of how that's going along as well. So yeah, that is kind of the outer shell. So let's pop outside and have a look at kind of where we stand with current situation, what the current floor looks like. I've just finished boarding up the one side on the old house gable end because there was some kind of gradiated footings from the existing structure which has been left there. Obviously there is an option if you wanted to dig down deeper and do underpinning, so you can then cut those foundations off, but there's obviously two issues with that. One, additional cost, but then even though you're doing it for your own reasons, you'd have to disclose, obviously for insurance purposes, that at some point you did have your house underpinned, which obviously may suggest that you've got subsidence or something, which obviously I don't have, thankfully. So I made the decision to just leave that, and then I've boxed it in. It has eaten into the garage space a little bit on the left hand side, and also the wall where the staircase is going up to the office slash cave is also indented a little bit into that space. But you'll see as we pop outside, and I'll give you a little kind of internal tour. Okay, so you join me outside of the garage. I'm going to pop inside. All of this outside pieces is going to be rendered, so obviously it just looks a little bit unsightly at the moment. And as I think I mentioned earlier in the video, security is obviously going to be a main kind of key component in here. So you're going to have secure doors, cameras, motion sensors, brake glass sensors, other things, just to make sure as much as possible everything in here is as super secure as it can be. So you can see already in the garage I've done a couple of coats. I think actually it's 3 coats of paint, all by brush. I did start off doing it with a sprayer, but it didn't really work. I think the too porous with the breeze blocks, and I've got another coat I need to do again because where they've basically concreted the floor and things, it's slopped up and made a mess, so I need to repaint it. But you can see insulation is already in, because obviously there is a habitable space up here. Some of the bits have fallen out over there which need to be put back, but this is the staircase that goes up into the cave area, so I'll have a little bit of storage kind of around here in both areas. And just over here is the soil pipe for the toilet, and there's water in there, so I'll have access for a hose pipe, which would be great. I haven't had to clean my car here for well over a year, so looking forward to having to do that again. You see various cable drops everywhere, so obviously all the electrics have been pre-wired for first fix, so that's another job on my list, to kind of put all those things in conduit. As I mentioned previously, before the floor was concreted, there was exposed foundations. So that was a job I finished yesterday, just boxing all of that in. I'll paint that white as well, just wait for caulking, etc. to dry, and then I think that should look actually pretty decent. The floor is 150mm concrete floor. Actually doesn't look too bad right now. I'll do a little overlay video. When it was first poured, it was all bobbly and not too great, but it has since been sanded and it's made it drastically better. Obviously I am going to tile it anyway, but there's a few more little snagging issues to have here where there's kind of gaps in the concrete. Obviously I don't want creepy crawlies and water or anything falling down there, because we do have mice living in the area, and obviously they find a little hole and they decide they want to live in there. They can. So my main plans, as I've sketched out, I'm not sure how it's going to work. So as I mentioned, it's a 5-meter opening. As you can see here, if I stand part of one of the openings, which is just here, you can't drive straight back because there's this wall here which supports the floor for up above here, which is where there's going to be a little kind of shower room. So obviously that impacts drivability to the back, as well as the staircase. You can see that protrudes a little bit more as well. So like I mentioned, there'll be some storage under here. Probably going to have a water heater in here for hot water for upstairs, not for down here. Don't know. Now I think I might put a little hot water tap down here as well. We'll see. But plenty of sockets. So there'll be a set of sockets over here, set of sockets here, which will be for roller garage door, to have power for that. Multiple sockets over on this side. That'll be used for trickle charging of motorbikes in the car, etc. Again, with some sockets at the back. I've also got a dedicated socket going in here for a 16 amp commando socket, because my longer term goal may be that machinery or other things that would require a more industrial socket will be available here. And if you've been a long time viewer of the channel, you'll remember I did like a garage makeover at my previous house where I installed Duramat flooring. Going to do something similar with that on the floor here. Also had some Stanley garage units, which I still have, but got something slightly different planned from here for units to go at the back. But I'm hoping this is going to be a really nice clean space. I think already, just the fact with the white walls, if you've not painted the garage walls white, I think you should consider doing that. So I think it makes the place much brighter. I think it just looks a nice clean working environment. On the ceiling, I'm probably going to do a darker colour up there, which will make the lighting pop a bit more. So I've got an idea of what I think I'm going to do for the ceiling, lighting and the flooring. But again, that will come in a separate video. But how about you guys? What do you think of the garage build so far? Any kind of recommendations or thoughts on how best to use the space? Again, I've already got my tools and everything in storage. For my previous Polestar, I have tool chest and things kind of over here. I think it's a reasonably good space. Very fortunate to basically be in a situation where I have this, and you can see, even though the opening for the garage door actually isn't that high, the actual ceiling of the roof itself is pretty good. There's a good height here in the garage. So yeah, there will be some side access. We're having a security door put on there as well. That should all be completed in the next week or so. So next time you see a part 2 for this video, it will be, like I mentioned, after ceiling is done, maybe flooring at the same time. There may be a few more videos to have. But I'm interested, what do you guys think? Any kind of recommendations? Any things that you think could be done better or differently? The reason that I didn't do this kind of boarding all the way along at the same height, the reason it transitions down is, first of all, the foundations were stepped, but also I want to put secure mounts into the wall to secure bikes and things too as well, to make sure that if someone was able to get in here, along with the sensors, cameras, everything, they've got more of a job to do to try and take basically a bike as well. So hope this video was interesting. Again, all this home renovation stuff is what's taking all my time. I see at work all day, and then the evenings and weekends basically working on the renovation, now working on this stuff, and it takes time, but I always try and make time to get that one video out every Sunday, just to find time to buff them up a little bit more. But yes, thank you very much for watching. It's going to be interesting if you like your garages and you like vehicles, seeing how this all turns out. But again, I think it's come out pretty well. Even at the breeze block, it's come out pretty nice. Some of them, the breeze blocks are damaged, which again, I'm being a little bit picky on, but isn't ideal. But even this original gable end wall that was traditional bricks, that's coming up quite nice as well with the white paint. On this wall, I think this is where the motorbikes are going to go. I want to kind of do some kind of, I don't know, some kind of display where I've got my helmets and stuff on those mounts. Maybe some old pallets I can sand down or put something up there. I've been using Pinterest quite a lot to think of things. But again, my main thing is I want it to be functional but clean. Not super sterile, I would say. But I don't want it to look like a junk tip garage. I want it to look more showroom-esque. Know where my tools are, know where things are. You have to come in here, work on the vehicles, keep clean everything, which is another point. The reason why I want to put some flooring down is it's a little bit more comfortable. Going to seal the concrete as well, so the dust doesn't come up and go everywhere. But yeah, should be good. So thanks very much for watching. Like I said, I might do some other renovation videos showing stuff, you know, around the cave and the other areas that I'm working on. But I'll do that for members. But thanks as always for watching. Please like this video if you have done. Consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already. More garage videos to come, and obviously this channel is all about showing my thoughts, interests and hobbies, and hopefully there's something on here that you continue to enjoy. Till the next video, take care of yourself. Goodbye for now.